Let's jump into it, everybody. I hope you've had a great day since yesterday. The challenge was to choose an area of life, and also the challenge was choose an area of life that you're avoiding, I might say. And also the challenge was to share a Facebook Live, sharing that area of life and introducing yourself to the group. And I just want to congratulate everyone that did that. Your messages were so awesome. And I know it's hard to get out there and share a message. And I could see some of you. It was out of your comfort zone. And I would just want to congratulate you for doing that. And we've got a big day 2 for you. So we're going to take it to the next level with the theme of avoidance, if you will, and really kind of chunking down and getting specific around that area. But who have we got on? Let's check who we got on today. So we've got Chrissy, we've got Jai, obviously, Amos, Claudio's on here, Diane's on here, Jane's on here, Jesse's on here, Kira's on here, Lenny's on here, Michaela, Monique, Sophie, and Tay. So again, a big welcome. 90% of success is showing up, guys. We have a bit of a winner. So I was watching the videos and there was one person in particular, and that was you, Kira, that I really connected with. And I could tell how out of your comfort zone sharing what you were sharing was, and also how real you were as well. I mean, you all were amazing. But Kira, you are our winner for today. And Kira, are you there? If you want to unmute yourself. Let's see you.
Hi.
Hello, how you going? So we're actually giving you, it's a brand new thing that we're doing. It's called a life recharge healing session. And it's designed to heal those patterns that you talked about on your video. So I was really excited. I was talking to Rach last night when a lot of the videos were coming through, and I was like, wow, the healing session will be so amazing for Kira. So Rachel's going to organize that for you. It's valued at $500. And so congratulations, we're giving that to you.
Thank you.
Well done. And receive, my dear. No, I noticed that. Receive. Take a deep breath in. That's your big thing, is we've got to help you receive. Receive love and receive abundance. Does that kind of make sense for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So congratulations. As a group, give her a big E-clap, everybody. This will be life-changing for you. Will be really life-changing. So congratulations. And congratulations for really showing up in this challenge as well. So anyway, let's jump into our session. We've only got an hour today. So I'm going to jump straight in. I've got a lot of content, a lot of new content. That's the reason we do, you show up to these lives, is because every time I run them, we're sharing new information that we've been learning over the quarter from working with hundreds and hundreds of people, what's working, what's not working, and the breakthroughs. Those of you that are platinum, with your lifetime reset, that's why you attend the live events, is that you have your Platinum Accelerator online, which is all the recordings. You can watch all of that. It has the fundamentals in those recordings. But each of our live sessions, we share brand new content. That's why we suggest, please, please, please keep showing up. The Platinums, we want this to be an asset for you, which is why you have the lifetime reset. But also what we do is that we go out and we do the hard work. We go and research, we go and execute, we go and test. A lot of the stuff doesn't necessarily work in the Australian market. So we're doing the testing, and we want to be able to share what's working, what's not working with you based on our experience, our execution. So that's why I say keep showing up to these Breakout to Successes. Keep showing up to the live events, the Now events, Coach Now, Excellence Now, Influence Now. Influence Now is coming up, obviously, next week, and Entrepreneur Now as well. So let's get into it. Now, big congratulations again to Kira. So today what we want to talk about is structures. We're also going to talk about living a charged life and moving into that overflow concept that we talked about yesterday. Structures create outcomes. If you're not following through, if you've got a pen and pad, I'd be writing some of this stuff down because this stuff really, really changed my life. So if you're not following through, it typically means you're in the wrong structure, okay? If you're not following through, it typically means you're in the wrong structure. Now, there's two types of structures that you can have. And this is internally in terms of a mindset here. One of the structures that you can have is like a structure of fixing. And a structure of fixing is really, really challenging. Often perfectionists have this one. And the structure of fixing is, I've got to fix this, 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 I've got to fix this. Notice how it doesn't end. I've got to fix all of these things before I can have what I want. It's kind of that concept of getting fit before going to the gym. But the challenge with the structure of fixing, often you'll focus on the small rocks, not the big rocks. And more often than not, you'll be on a false target instead of a true target, i.e., I need to fix this drama, this drama, this drama, this drama before I can have what I want. Now, the most powerful structure that we talk about when it comes to living a charged life is the structure of creating. And that's where you just go and create. Now, I see this often at Live It Now, where we set people a 7-year vision and they get really, really excited about it. They've got a glimpse of kind of like that mission phase to make an impact, all of those things. And then what they do, instead of working out what is the fastest way to get to that 7-year vision, they go home and clean the house, or they go home and organize everything. I see this when I train coaches. I've trained thousands and thousands of coaches. Same kind of pattern. Instead of learning kind of how to engage people and connect with people and to be able to promote their services, what they do is they go and find the best administration system, accounting system. And I'm like, you don't have any sales at the moment. You don't need to focus on accounting. Go and make a mess. We'll get someone to clean it up later. And that's a structure of fixing. Another form of structure of fixing is education, where someone says, I need the next course, the next course, the next course, then I can go and have what I want. I see this in the therapeutic world, where people keep getting modalities, therapies, nonstop, hypnosis, all of that type of stuff, then EFT, TFT, counseling, and they keep studying modalities, thinking that the next modality is the thing that's going to get them to where they want. And I'm like, no, you probably actually need to start studying business, sales, promotion, marketing. And that's why you see a lot of broke coaches, a lot of broke consultants, a lot of broke practitioners, therapists out there, because they're in this structure of fixing. So many dreams are lost because people are in structures of fixing. Now, structures of fixing, typically you're making decisions with wounds. And the challenge is that when you make kind of life decisions, as I said yesterday, with wounds, you will repeat those wounds until they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then what often happens is the crisis wakes you up. For some of you to be on this challenge right now, you've had a crisis that has woken you up out of the trance of your wounds, and you've gone, no more. I need to get the health sorted, or I need to get the relationship sorted, or I need to get the wealth sorted. What a lot of people don't realize is the crisis is the key. The crisis actually gets us out of the trance to be able to make new decisions. But the problem is, typically people go back to a structure of fixing. I present at Macquarie University on business, and I'm part of the practical entrepreneurship component. Now, I often share this in a lot of my courses. I think most of you have probably heard this, but for those that haven't, it's interesting. Typically, I talk to year 5. There's year 5 students. There's a lot of PhDs in there, very intelligent people, very, very smart people. And this is an entrepreneurship diploma, and that's what I find interesting. How can you teach entrepreneurship in a classroom? We can't really. Entrepreneurship isn't something you learn in a classroom and get a badge of honor. No, in my experience, it's the experience of running a business, getting results, going through all of the different stages and building that resilience and turning that resilience into optimism. People think when you launch a business that if you just hit 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures, then life is going to be bliss. Well, the reality that's not the case. You just get bigger challenges, and it's your ability to handle those bigger challenges, which is what I believe is the badge of honor when it comes to entrepreneurship. So anyway, I sit in this, I present to about 400 students typically, and my presentation is often very, very quick. I say, who in the room has a business? And there's 400 people in the room. Typically one person has put their hands up. And I say, who's got a concept? Maybe 20% puts their hands up. And I'm like, you're year 5, you've dropped $50,000 a year on this course. They're in the red for, 50,000, 250,000 in debt from this training. and no one has a business, basically. One person has a business that has cash flow. And so I turn around and I say, leave this fucking course right now. Go and launch a business. You will learn more from running and launching a business and getting your first sale, doing your first deals, than you'll ever learn from sitting in this classroom. Now, that's an example of a structure of fixing, right? Sitting in a classroom going, I need more information. I need more information before I can execute. And so then I have all of these people come up to me at the end of my presentation and go, oh my God, that was the greatest presentation, and blah, 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 blah. And they say, but we don't know what to do. I'm like, how do you not know what to do? You're year 5. You've been studying this every day. You've dropped so much money on this training, and you don't know what to do. Now, the problem is that they're not in the right structure. And so I say to them, like, what if we applied leverage here and we put you in a different environment? For example, in my Troublemakers Business Breakout, we get leverage on people. We set challenges. We make it a must. And I said, imagine this. You had to feed your family from this business. You didn't have any savings, and you had to make $1,000 in the next week. What would you do? And I said, or let me take the leverage up for you. Imagine I had a gun to your head or your family's head, and I said, you have to make $1,000 in the next week. Now, it's amazing at this point in time because they all know exactly what to do. They go, well, I could do this. I could launch a Facebook campaign. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. So they have the knowledge. It's just that they're not in the right structure to be able to execute. And like I said yesterday, there are no $1 million ideas. There is only $1 million execution. So what we want to be able to do, and this is what I do with all of my courses, whether it be my Fast Fit Free Mastermind, my Platinum, or my Total Freedom guys, we put in a structure. And this structure is what I've learned off billionaires, and I want to share it with you today, that really forces growth. And forces growth on all levels, on a physical level, mental level, emotional level. But for you at this point in time, what I want you to think is to look at your structure, to look at your environment. Is there leverage? Do you need to burn the ships? Do you need to commit? Do you need to make a decision where you let go of the exit strategy and move to a new level of high performance? Because again, if you are not following through, it means that you're in the wrong structure, and we need to change that structure. Because if you keep that structure in play, you'll do the yo-yo up and down, and you won't necessarily follow through. And what will occur is that sabotage. And every time you go through that sabotage cycle, it erodes your belief. So we need to get uncomfortable. We need to do something different. Now, the thing about putting yourself in a structure of creating, it's not comfortable. This is the thing. It is not comfortable. It is going to trigger your wounds. It's going to trigger your patterns. The structure of fixing is safe. But in order to go to the next level, in order to break out to a new level of success, we need to get uncomfortable. That's what the breakout is. The breakout is that we're breaking out of our patterns. We're breaking out of our comfort zone. We're breaking out of our old structures. We're disrupting the rules, our self-imposed rules. That's why I called my company the Troublemakers, because we disrupt our rules. We disrupt our patterns, and to be able to break out to the next level. Okay, so I hope that's making sense. Give me a yes in the chat if that's making sense. Just checking that everyone's there. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Jai. Thank you, Kira. Awesome. I'll continue. All righty. So moving to high performance psychology. So first thing that I like to work on with people is to look at those emotional leakages that we talked about yesterday. If you think of the boat, the big boat, it's got holes in it, it's sinking, it's not moving. So I like to stop, I like to heal the emotional leakages, and I really like to use these wounds. I like to turn wounds into superpowers. Like I said before, a lot of people think they shouldn't have wounds. The wounds are the key. The wounds are often the things that wake you up. Then we use the wounds. Instead of the wounds controlling you, we use the wounds to be able to access the opposite polarity. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. See, if we're holding on to a pattern of limitation, then as we move through it, we get access to the opposite polarity. But if the wound is kind of controlling us, what's going to happen is we're going to be running away from it, and it will be chasing us for the rest of our life. So actually what we need to do is turn around and face the pattern and move through the pattern. For example, if you want to shift, say sadness, for instance, instead of running away from sadness, we need to face sadness. And as we move through sadness, on the other side of sadness is the opposite polarity, which is happiness. So what if you're here to experience happiness? That's why you have that wound. That's why you have that pattern. And the key is to be able to face it, to move through it, to then access both sides. You can't have night without day. Okay, like you won't be able to experience the level of happiness without having the sadness. As we bring these both together, then that becomes your consistent state of polarity. And then what if then your purpose is to be able to then share happiness with the world? Because you've gone from sadness to happiness, then the objective is to then help other people achieve that polarity. And this is where people don't realize the wounds actually have the kind of key to be able to help us move to the mission phase. But as I said, I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Really, really powerful. So the first thing I like to do when moving to high performance, when I'm working with someone, we want to heal the emotional leakages. We want to turn the wounds into superpowers. And then what starts to happen is they start to move quicker. They start to become faster. They start to become freer, and the energy starts to increase. We want to look at structure. We want to move to a structure of creating. Now, when you do things solo, typically you'll be in a structure of fixing, okay? The greatest structure is when you work with a team, which is why if you come to Live It Now, we put you in a team with all of our programs, Fast Fit Free Mastermind, the Platinum, our Total Freedom Program, all of those things. We put you in little accountability groups into masterminds. And we want to really magnetize your community. So you want to be moving to that state of overflow, but you want to be putting yourself in new communities. And like I shared yesterday, when you are overflowing, when you have that magnetic energy, you will attract people at that vibration. And that's what we want to start to look at. So we want to be working with a group, we want to be working with a mastermind, but also we want to be accessing new high performance communities. The next thing is that we need strategy. This is the thing. A lot of people study just mindset, and sure, they become really, really confident and certain and all of that type of stuff. Often then they become the motivated idiot. They set multiple goals. They move into overwhelm. It doesn't work. And then they move back to that structure of fixing. You can see how this works. We want to work on the mindset. We want to move to that overflow. We want to put you in a really, really powerful structure, be working with a team. But then what we want to look at is the best strategies. The best strategies around wealth to take you from here to here. The best strategies on health to take you from here to here. And the best strategies on relationships to take you from here to here. And again, often what we look at is the area of life that you're avoiding, because that holds the key to really accessing a high level of energy or a high level of polarity as we move into that overflow state. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. For your mind, what I want you to be thinking, we need to work on mindset, we need to look at a structure of creating, and we need to be working with the best strategies that we can find. And this is where, like, if we take the education system, typically the education system is based on generality. So learning theories or general concepts that often have no relevance. If you look at a lot of people that go into the university system, I'm not bashing every course, by the way, but if you look at in general, 71% of people that go to the university structure, by the end of it, they're more confused than when they started, typically because they're on someone else's goal plan like their parents. Also, if you look at the courses and the content that is shared, often what happens is that 60 to 70% also is really not relevant to the role that a person gets long term. And also a lot of the time, the content and information is outdated by the time they finish. Now, we live in an accelerated world. And so new information is coming through. What's working and what's not working is changing rapidly. This is why results-based education, I think, is so important. You can see an explosion of online courses happening. And really, when it comes to results-based education and strategy, you want to learn from someone that is getting the results specifically. Okay. The old days, it used to be a person that was a consultant would come in, they have an MBA or something like that. These days, in the small to medium business market, if someone sat down with me with an MBA and they've never run a business, they wouldn't last 3 minutes in an appointment with me. I want to learn from someone that is getting 10x my results, because I know I can then model them and then I can get to that point a whole lot faster. Okay, from an NLP point of view, that's what we want to do. We can model the belief systems, we can model the behaviors, so we can model the internal. And then as we take the internal and then arm that with the strategies, we can do it in half the time. And that's what I want to be learning. That's why I choose kind of one mentor a year. I invest in their masterminds, their packages, all of that type of stuff. And then I can really commit to their content, their information. I execute it as much as I can. Then I examine it after 12 months. But I always have a master, or I always have a mentor. That is so important. That was a big key that I learned. I'm always an apprentice. I take that apprentice concept with a willingness to learn that's 10 out of 10, and a willingness to learn that's 10 out of 10 is I've got to empty my mind of all the knowledge I have to create space for some new information. And then a really great apprentice has a willingness to change. It's 10 out of 10. So if my mentor gives me a suggestion based on the plan to be able to radically change, I will change rapidly. And that's what an incredible apprentice is. And if you think about it, when the apprentice is ready, the master will appear. Now, if you are a really good apprentice, the master will typically open up their community, their network, and teach you how to do deals within their network. And that's how you can earn a year's salary in a weekend, buy one deal and all of those things. But that is the structure, everybody. There's two kind of structures I'm talking about here. This is the work that we do to move to high performance. But when it comes to an apprentice, an apprentice has a master and the master has a network. So some extra content. I was going to share that today. So I hope this is making sense to you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. All right. Next one, living the charged life. So living a charged life, moving to overflow with your energy and life force. So we've talked about structures create outcomes, and we want to move to a structure of fixing. The next thing is this. I shared this with you yesterday. If we're stuck in the past, we switch off in terms of our energy. If we're stuck in the future, we switch off in terms of our energy and polarity. When we're in the now position, what happens is that we get that energy, clarity, knowledge, and it's a flow state. So things start moving. And they start moving because of our energy. Our energy is at a high level, a high polarity. And because it's at a high polarity, it's magnetic. And this is where we can bring in new people. And with new people, there are opportunities. So how do we shift our energy and move to the next level? So it looks like this. So we have each of the areas of life that we focus on in Fast Fit Free. Now, you've probably heard me say this. When you handle the basic stresses, you create space for your true genius. So if we look at this, we've got health now, relationships now, and we've got wealth now. As I said, the three areas that we focus on in Fast Fit Free. Now you've got this top area that's called enlightenment now. Now enlightenment now is where we light up the neural networks. The word light. We light up the neural networks. In some cases, these neurological networks have been dormant. They're activated when we're kids, but because of suppression, because of being stuck in the past or stuck in the future, they're laying dormant. Our potential is laying dormant. These new neurological connections have different levels of energy, different levels of clarity, and also knowledge. Now, what I find is this. We can be, when it comes to our health, we can be stuck in the past around our health. Now, think about that. If we're stuck in the past around our health, that means that there is a wound in the past or a story in the past, and we keep reliving that around our health. Okay, maybe, I never followed through, or maybe I had a health challenge, a physical challenge, a mental challenge, or a nutritional deficiency or whatever it is, and we're stuck in the past and it's connected to a negative emotion. So it's actually draining our energy. We're not present when it comes to our health. Or we could be stuck in the future when it comes to our health, thinking of the worst case scenario. This is a big concept for everyone at the moment because a lot of people are worried about getting cancer. A lot of people are worried about heart-related illnesses, obesity, because all of these stats are increasing. No one's looking at the emotional side. When we're stuck in the future when it comes to our health, we're going to experience a whole heap of anxiety. And what is anxiety? The habitual process of focusing on what you don't want or the worst case scenario. So if we're not in health now, we could even be training, we're going to feel exhausted. We can even be eating really healthy food, we're going to feel exhausted. Even when you take the approach when it comes to health of aggressively pushing yourself, that will create a yo-yo effect as well. And this is what some people do, is they go and build themselves at the gym. And I used to be like that. I used to think, okay, yeah, the gym is a place where I attack myself. But what if that's causing stress? What if that's causing an emotional leakage? And so we want to be health now. How do we be health now? We do the mindset work. We get rid of the wounds. We look at the emotional leakages that are holding us back. Okay, we fix the anxiety in the future. We've got an incredible anxiety process to be able to shift that in minutes. And so we come back to health now. We do the work. We become present around our health. Even if you think, when you become present to your body when it comes to health, you actually know the exact foods to eat. Like when you eat, when you eat a meal, how do you feel 20 minutes after? Do you feel exhausted, bloated, lethargic? Or do you feel energy? Do you have clarity? Do you feel alive? A lot of people are not present because they live in a self-induced hypnotic trance, being either stuck in the past or stuck in the future. So everything starts to shift as we move back to health now. We unlock energy, we unlock resources, we unlock clarity. The same is with relationships. Are you stuck in the past when it comes to your relationships? Are there past wounds? Are there unresolved patterns? Are there patterns where you're not forgiving someone, you're blaming or you're justifying, or you're holding on to past hurts and past relationships? And the same thing, if you're doing those patterns, if you've got that trauma around relationships, you'll be often stuck in the future as well, thinking the worst case scenario. Some people get to the point in relationships where they just let go of the future when it comes to a relationship. They just live in independence because they're stuck in maybe some anger or resentment or whatever it is. When relationships, life is relationships. Again, this will take up so much energy. And you might say, well, I've got really great relationships here. No, we want to look at the wounds. We want to look at the things that you're avoiding, because again, they hold the key to the biggest emotional leakages and exhaustion. And then you can look at wealth now. Wealth now, how do you feel about money? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel exhausted? Do you have certain belief systems from the past around money? Money is the root of all evil. Was that passed on through generation after generation? Or are you stuck in the future when it comes to money? The worst case scenario, I'm never going to get my dream home. I'm never going to be financially successful, or I'm not good with money, or whatever it is, or I always make the same mistakes. Again, you're going to either be stuck in the past or stuck in the future. And a classic example was with our demonstration with Kazi yesterday. We could see that there are a whole lot of patterns where she was stuck in the past. And this went back to like age 4, where she became powerless instead of powerful. So if we're stuck in the past on any of these areas, or stuck in the future on any of these areas, we will cut ourselves off to that overflow of energy and life force. Now, I find once we handle the basic stresses, so once we move to the now position around health, wealth, relationships, we then create space to tap into our true genius. And this is where clarity starts to unfold. And this is where we're talking about enlightenment now, where we start to create space for something new. We move into overflow. And as we move into overflow, then what starts to transition is that we have ideas to be able to make an impact. Whereas what a lot of people do, they're like, oh, I want to help everybody. But often they're avoiding a wound. They're rescuing, they're distracting themselves with other people's issues. When the reality is they need to be doing that stuff. They need to be working on themselves. And this is where someone can be addicted to attaching themselves to other people's dramas. And again, getting exhausted with other people's dramas as well, and addicted to doing all of these things. So I hope this is making sense. Is this exciting, everybody? And so when it comes to fast, fit, free, this is what I look at, is that we look at the area of life that you're avoiding at all costs, because we know that's the biggest emotional leakage. We then do the work to get you back to the now position, whether it be health now, wealth now, relationships now. And what we find is that when we get you back to that now position, it accelerates. You start to accelerate your success in that area. But the interesting thing is that there is not, we find our clients, as I said yesterday, they're not expelling a whole lot of energy. In fact, they're able to achieve more with less. Okay, so this is the key. So imagine you're in the now position on all of those areas. Wow, what happens is enormous clarity, enormous energy, and this life force actually does the work for us. Awesome. Give me a yes if you're enjoying this, guys. I hope you are. So the next thing is to give you some tactics to be able to live a charged life. So we take charge of the mindset. A lot of people, they're at the effect of their programming. We need to take charge. We need to learn how to use the unconscious mind. That is key. We're not taught how to use the unconscious mind at school. Typically, if our parents have ineffective strategies with dealing with emotions, then it's often passed on generation after generation. And so we need to learn this stuff. This is why I'm so passionate. This is why I run Live It Now. I give Live It Now to the community. It's why I have a course called Excellence Now. And Excellence Now gives you the tools. Excellence around communication, excellence around your psychology, excellence around your behavior. I've also got some meditations and all of those things that you guys can use to be able to really take charge of your mindset and really start to turn these limitations or limiting patterns into patterns of power. So what we want to be able to do to take charge of your mindset is reframe. We want to reframe impossibility. So we want to look at limiting beliefs, limiting of negative emotions. We want to reframe them from impossibility to possibility. It's like I said to you, we are in charge of our unconscious mind. No different to like a director of a movie. The director can change the picture, the color, the actors, the characters, all of that type of stuff. You can do the same thing with your unconscious mind. Like, who is the actor that you want to be? Do you want to be the hero or do you want to be the villain? You can change that. You can change that voice inside of your head. You can make it louder, softer. You can change the tonality. We are in charge, but a lot of people don't realize this. And as I said, I teach you all of these things in Excellence Now. So we want to move to possibility. And by the way, we were designed to be in a state of possibility. We're not designed to be in a state of impossibility. This is learnt stuff. We're designed to release emotion, not repress emotion. As kids between the ages of 0 and 3, you see kids doing this. It's a built-in system. We're built into release. And if you look at kids before the programming hits, before rejection hits, the world is wondrous. There's gratitude, there is excitement, there is possibility. All of what happens is that we turn the news. We've got parents that don't know how to deal with their patterns. We go into a schooling system that conditions rejection, stifles creativity. And of course, we're only going to be running on a small percentage of our possibility. So we want to move to possibility, and we have the tools to be able to do this. The next one is that we need to stand guard of your unconscious mind. You have this incredible machine, everybody. It is so powerful. But what do? We feed it shit. We feed it reality TV. We feed it news constantly. We surround ourselves with wounded people, so we reinstall wounds. What if you decided to take charge after this session and you started to take charge of your community, you started to take charge of the information that is going into your unconscious mind, and you started to stand guard? Maybe instead of watching every single news channel, you might just do 10 minutes of it. And then for the rest of the day, you are putting in possibility into that unconscious mind. Two things that happen when you get on a true target. Your unconscious mind switches on. Okay, we move to flow, and everything starts to flow. We move to possibility. And then when you start to turn limiting patterns into patterns of power, again, bang, the unconscious mind switches on. So number one, we want to take charge of your mindset. Number two, take charge of your mornings, living a charged life. This is a morning ritual that I do. It is really, really powerful. I've tested so many different types of morning rituals, but this is just so, so powerful. And I believe how you start, how you finish. And so I don't do this every single morning. I probably do it 4 mornings a week. But I find when I do the 4 mornings a week with this, my God, I move to that enlightenment level by the end of the day. So morning ritual, first thing is movement. It's very hard to do mindset work when you're kind of lying in bed. So I like to be moving, not bashing myself, but just moving, walking. Okay, then I go into gratitude. Now, the reason I go into gratitude is it gets me back here and now. So if you think of what we've been sharing with you, are you stuck in the past or are you stuck in the future? What we want to be able to do is come back to here and now. So I use gratitude to be able to bring me back here and now, because what gratitude does, it gets me out of my head. I start to look at things and go, I'm grateful for this, grateful for this, grateful for this. It changes the cycle of the thinking. I start to then move back into present time. So typically my mornings are this. I'm walking along Manly Beach. I live on Manly Beach, which is so amazing. So I walk across the road, I'm on the beach. And then I'm walking with Steffi, my wife, and Elsa, my beautiful little daughter, and we're walking along and we naturally go into gratitude. Now, if I'm really, really stuck, as in I've got a lot of stress or whatever it is, and I'm finding it really hard to find things that I'm grateful for, I'll start with the sand. I'm really grateful for the sand. I'm really grateful for the water. I'm really grateful for where I live. I'm really grateful for Steffi and Elsa. I'm really grateful for the business and my team that I have. I'm really grateful, and so on. And it starts to spiral into a new cycle, a new direction. Now, once I'm back into present time and I'm here in the moment and I'm seeing all of the beauty around me, hearing the sounds, and really connected, I then move into mission. And mission, I go big picture. And mission for me is to make an impact, to create a positive world, one person at a time. And I imagine our events all around the world, and I imagine all of the lives that we're transforming and the people that we're serving. I imagine our team, and I imagine this business and this movement that is growing, and all of the passionate entrepreneurs that are rising up and taking a leadership position and helping other people. And so, as you can see, I've got so much clarity around this. I see the leader that I'm becoming, the person I'm becoming. And then I chunk back down and I start to create my day. I create my future now. And I go, what would a 10 out of 10 day be? Okay, what would my 10 out of 10 day be? And I think of around health, I think relationships, and I think wealth. And then I execute as fast as I possibly can. And typically when I execute, I look at the things that I would normally avoid, and I hit those as fast as I possibly can, the dollar producing activities. But look at what I've done. I've been moving, I've been charging myself up. I've gone into gratitude, I've stopped the cycle. I've gone big picture and connected to my big vision, my 7-year vision, my vision board. And then I've come back now down and I thought to myself, what is it I need to do in order to get closer to that mission? What's the thing I would normally avoid without this level of charge? And then bang, I execute. Remember, no $1 million ideas, only $1 million execution. And so I get so further, I get so much closer when I do this process in comparison to the old process. And the old process, what a lot of people do is this. They wake up in the morning and they start to think of all of the things that they have to do. They're not moving. They're often lying in bed. They think about all the things that they have to do. Then they typically transition to all of the things that are not working. Then they have their coffee and that's how they start their day. Can we see a difference here? How you start is how you finish. The next thing around living a charged life is this. Nature holds the key, everybody. We are progressively living in an artificial environment, artificial food, artificial light. The living environments are becoming smaller and smaller. We used to have large land masses, but now we're living in air. We're disconnected from the earth. So every 90 days, what I do is what I call an ultimate life recharge. I actually take people away and we get into nature. I have this beautiful place. It's in the hills of Mullumbimby. It's very, very spiritual. It's very, very powerful. But I really just let nature do its job. So every 90 days, I'm away in nature. I often take 10 people away with me and we just get back to basics, which what we do is that we get more sun. The sun holds healing properties, everybody. So we get more sun. We start to sleep or change our sleeping cycles so they're in with the sun, or the cycle of the sun, that I should say. So we're waking up doing sun gazing. We're going to bed earlier. We increase our oxygen rates by doing very, very powerful breath work, alkaline breathing to energize the body. We increase the water intake with really high alkaline water. We then transition into movement, not bashing the body, but building core strength, flexibility, movement. We go into a fast, or we'll use alkaline foods. And I'll typically do this for a 5-day period with people that can't take off 5 days. What I say is just take off a Friday and a weekend, get back into nature, go into a fast, recharge your batteries. We teach you how to do this in my program, Fast Fit Free, or if you want to come away with us, we do that in our Total Freedom program as well. But what I would say to you is book this every 90 days. What I find with people is that they avoid this one. because they're so addicted to doing, they're so set up to be fighting crises and fires all of the time. They don't realize that they're running on empty. They don't realize that they're exhausted, they're burnt out, especially if you're an entrepreneur. What you probably have the ability to do is switch off from your body and just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. So if you're binging on sugars and chocolates and all of that type of stuff, if you're in like a sabotage pattern, if you're feeling like I can't be bothered or burning out, it means that you need to do a recharge. Now, I find if I can do like my morning ritual 3 to 4 times a week, have an ultimate life recharge every 90 days with the change of the seasons, I move into that overflow, everybody. I start to consistently live that charged life. And if I need to, I can work 16 hours a day because I've got my ultimate life recharge to recharge the batteries, to heal, to move back into that overflow. Now, like I said, structures create outcomes. The next one, this is a support system that I have in place to be able to break through any limitations and turn limiting patterns into patterns of power. So I've got all of these happening. So I take charge of my mindset. I'm standing at the doorway. I take charge of my mornings. I do an ultimate life recharge every 90 days. This one is the most powerful. And so this is a structure that I have in place. I'm constantly learning, but education based on results. I'm learning from people that get results. I have one-to-one mentoring, and I work with a mechanic, the best mechanics of the mind that I can find. I am part of a high-level mastermind group with people that are at the next step or doing the same journey as me, and I am constantly building a high-performance network. So I'm finding people that are 10 times, they're 10 times more successful than me in whatever area of life I'm focusing on, whether it be health, wealth, or relationships. I'm constantly nurturing and building that high-performance network. Now, the key to this, everybody, is that you need all of these in play at the same time. So results-based education, not a scattergun approach to education, which is what a lot of people do. They're reading a book over here on health, book over here on mindset, book over here on relationships, book over here on business, and they're probably only reading 10 to 20% of it. Nope. What you want to be able to do is look at, here's my 7-year vision, this is where I'm going, and you look at what's the obstacle, what's holding you back here. You study that. You put all of your energy into that, okay? And the reality is, like people that are in my Fast Fit Free Mastermind or my Platinum Mastermind, I say, all you're doing really is that you're going to have a one-on-one coaching session maybe once a fortnight, and then once a week, watch Netflix with Matt. and that's the reality of it. Do your morning ritual, go and socialize with a high-performing network. Really, that's simple. It doesn't take up a lot of time. A lot of people think, oh my God, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources, all of this type of stuff. It actually doesn't take that much time. Now, and also is that if you set this up into your life, you're going to move to a new level of high performance because your energy is overflowing. You're going to be able to do more, create more, and you're going to be using kind of almost like, the resources, if you will, of your higher self to be able to create, which is really, really exciting. So I hope that makes sense. Imagine you could do this, everybody. Imagine you could take this and really execute this into your life. Imagine from this point onwards, you decided, you know what, I'm going to take charge of my mindset. I'm going to stand guard at the doorway of my unconscious mind. I'm going to start to put possibility instead of impossibility. For 3 to 4 days a week, I'm going to do a morning ritual. I might get up 30 minutes earlier. Okay. I'm going to book in a recharge. It might be a camping trip. It might be some type of meditation retreat that has fasting or whatever it is. Or you might want to come away with me a couple of times a year and do a recharge. But the great thing is you can do this by yourself. You can do it with other people. Imagine you book this in. See, when you schedule it, it happens, everybody. And then for the high achievers, imagine you got this support structure that forces you to move into creating instead of fixing. Imagine you executed all of this stuff. What would happen in the next 6 months? What if you did this for 12 months? What if you did this for the next 5 years? Wow. See, a lot of people, they're stuck in the industrial revolution of thinking. And the industrial revolution of thinking is, oh, someone else is going to fix me, save me, help me. That's not the world we live in anymore. There is a rise of a new type of leader. And the new type of leader really start to work on their unconscious mind. They have an understanding of the unconscious mind. They turn limiting patterns into patterns of power. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. Awesome. Let's continue. So structures create outcomes again. I want to share this with you. This is just so powerful. So we need to be putting ourselves in different structures, especially when it comes to community. Okay. So if you look at it, here you are in the middle. Now, typically what most people are doing is they're making life decisions from their wounds. So life decisions from fear, life decisions from guilt, life decisions from hurt, life decisions from sadness. Or they've got limiting beliefs that are really controlling their decision-making process. For example, if you've got a belief system that I can't make money and you give that energy, that's going to be your life. If you've got a belief system that you don't have enough time and you give that energy and you make life decisions from those decisions, like you will never have enough time. If you've got a belief that nothing works, that's so dangerous. And you give that belief energy, oh, I never follow through, nothing ever works, and you give that energy and you make life decisions from that belief system, oh my God, you will never follow through. Well, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do your course because I never follow through. And I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, just come along and do Fast Fit Free. Join this incredible community. Bolt on some coaching, put that structure in place. Oh, no. I've done courses before. It never works. I'm like, are you serious? Yet they go out and go, oh yeah, I'm going to invest in the next TV, the next iPhone, shitty food, drugs and alcohol and all of those things. I'm like, no wonder nothing's working in your life because you're suppressing. You're using those things to suppress, distract yourself. But I'm like, you'll get the lesson. Because if you make life decisions from wounds, the problem just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you have a major crisis and then suddenly you wake up. So the challenge is that if you make life decisions from your wounds, you will attract your wounds so you can see the next level. If you make life decisions from your wounds, you'll attract your wounds. Now, what do I mean by that? You'll attract people with the same wounds. Like attracts like. And even if you do the mindset work, but you don't change your environment, you will attract those wounds. You will reinstall those wounds. So what we want to be able to do is this. We want to move to Fast Fit Free. We want to move to overflow of energy, overflow of unconditional love, and overflow of abundance, the abundance thinking, seeing opportunities. Now, when we're in that overflow state, there is a different magnetism. Now, if you stay in the environment of your wounds, you will trigger those wounds. You will trigger people. Okay, and that's where there can be chaos. You can trigger family members, you can trigger their wounds, because if someone's got a wound of, say, sadness, and you're really, really happy, you're going to trigger their wound of sadness. Okay, and they're going to want to get back into that polarity, which may mean projecting their stuff onto you. So what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to move to overflow, but move to a new environment. A new environment of possibility. And this is where you can see the third circle around the outside is the circle of opportunities. Is this making sense to everyone? Give me a yes. This is often why mindset doesn't work. Is everyone with me? Is because people, they do the mindset work, they attend events and all that type of thing, but then they go back and surround themselves with their wounds. So this is with my courses, what we do is, like with our Fast Fit Free people and Platinum people, we bring them into the same accountability. So you have people that are at the next level, okay? And the same with my Troublemakers group, we have the Troublemakers Network. We bring everyone together so that you're able to network with people that are at the next step, okay? We do that for you. So really, really important. This is what I say, community is key, everybody. And I shared this with you yesterday. We do the release work, but we need to have a community of possibility around you. And then we bolt on strategy and it takes you to the next level. So again, I just want to go through this again, is here you are in the middle, okay? Now, if we do all this mindset work, if we move to overflow, but you keep in this environment, you will reinstall those wounds. What we need to be able to do is move you to overflow and then get you into new environments of possibility. Now, when you're in overflow and you're in a new environment, not the environment of your wounds, you will attract new possibilities, everybody. And this is where people will show up. New people, new opportunities that have a higher vibration. So really, really important. This is part of structures create outcomes. And this is really how to make personal development work. And this is why with my Platinum course, I give you this stuff for life so that you can be actively building new high performance communities. Awesome. Okay, I hope that's making sense. I think it's time to set a bit of a challenge for you guys. So grab your books. What I want you to do is write down, number one, is to think of the area of life that we chose yesterday. So please do this. I know we've done a lot of content today. We've got to do an activity right now. So please do this. So grab your books that you used yesterday. You chose an area of life that you're avoiding at all costs. Okay, I want you to choose that one area. Next thing I want you to do is write down the top 5 things that you're avoiding in that area of life. The top 5 things. So if it's wealth, what are the top 5 things that you've been avoiding around your wealth? If it's health, what are the top 5 things that you've been avoiding around your health? If it's a relationship, what are the top 5 things? Maybe it's a conversation, whatever it is. I want you to now do this right now. Write down the top 5 things as fast as you can. The more uncomfortable, the better. Remember, the biggest things that we avoid at all costs hold the biggest opportunities for creation, the biggest opportunities to unlock your authentic power, to heal the emotional leakages. And then what I want you to do is circle the top 3 things. What are the top 3 things that are most uncomfortable that you would avoid at all costs? And I want you to do that. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Your time starts now. Go for it. All right. Once you've done this, the next thing that I want you to do is circle the top one. What is the number one thing? And this is what I want you to focus on today. I want you to execute on this number one thing between today's session and tomorrow. And again, we're going to give prizes for this. So choose the number one thing that you're going to focus on today, and I want you to share it in the comments. We've got 22 people on this call right now, on this challenge right now. I want to see 22 comments. What is the number one thing that's out of your comfort zone that you're going to do? If you feel uncomfortable, if you feel triggered, that's what we want. If there are limiting beliefs coming up, that's what we want. Remember, the biggest opportunities for personal growth are where there is challenge or avoidance. The biggest opportunities for personal growth is where there is often conflict. We use conflict to be able to take it to the next level. The biggest opportunities is when, you've been getting the setback after setback after setback. We can look at that and use that pattern. This is what I say to my clients. We use it. We use the challenges. We use the conflicts. We use the setbacks because they hold the key to the next level, everybody. Remember yesterday I talked about kind of this life is almost like a game. It really is. We've got this kind of voice inside of our head. It's called the intuition. It's telling us what to do. It's the first voice, okay? And the biggest opportunities, they come from our setbacks. They give us the clues to the next level. Isn't that interesting? Imagine it is a game. Like Elon Musk thinks this is a game, a high-level virtual reality game. But imagine it is. And the answers are in the setbacks. The answers are in the challenges. The answers are in the conflicts. But we avoid it. There's a built-in system to avoid it. But the answers are there. The answers are in front of us every single step of the way. We've just got to become present. We've got to move to the now position. We've got to become present to, our true voice. We've got to turn the volume of our true voice and make it louder. Okay, and then we've got to embrace challenge, embrace conflicts, embrace setbacks, and move through them. And the key is not to do this alone. We need to be working with a team. And if we do that, then suddenly we create that momentum. So let's check the chat now. Linny, drinking water and hydrating. I want something bigger than that. Something that's out of your comfort zone. Some activity that you would avoid at all costs. So like choose that area of life, wealth, health, or relationships. What's the number one thing that you've been putting off, you've been avoiding? So what have we got here? We've got, trusting myself, accepting I deserve wealth. I want something more, like, an ordeal, a challenge to do something that you've been putting off. Emotional feelings not good enough, wanting to learn to back myself, learn and trust, hang with a friend and do a bunch of life admin. Awesome. Creating my business page. Brilliant. What else have we got? Being super vulnerable right now. Sorry, I just missed that, Jamie. So I need to take responsibility and stop working at night. Take the time to shop, cook. Awesome. Put a structure in place that forces you to do those things. Connections with networks, have my ideas and that could work in the industry. A Storm, Amos, okay, creating connections, Kazi, hard conversations. Awesome. Monique, that's what I'm talking about. Making decisions, Sophie. Okay, letting go of past patterns, imposter syndrome. Awesome. Making new decisions. Free is love. Changing my legal surname. Awesome. Opening my mail. Fantastic. Now, we want an ordeal. We want a task. Okay, that is the key. Now, I want you, again, to jump on tomorrow or tonight and do another Facebook Live and give us an update on what you've done. Tomorrow, I have the most amazing prize, our grand prize. It's worth thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? And I won't tell you what it is, but it is entry into one of our courses, one of our big trainings. It's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So we're going to give that to one person that has really gone for it over the next couple of days, that have really gone for it, but also who has executed today. Now, does anyone have any stuff coming up? I wanted to help you maybe release some fear or maybe a limiting belief that is coming up. Do we have a courageous person that would like some help right now? I wanted to do a demonstration of our Belief Buster process with you. Because remember, what do? When there is a challenge, when there is a setback, we use that setback to be able to create some incredible change. I won't choose you, Kazi. We chose you yesterday. That who would like to be an amazing example? Who would like to be able to maybe release some fear, a limiting belief or a limiting decision that's been holding you back, or specifically that has been triggered in this process right now? Okay, Sophie, I'm going to choose you. So Sophie, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. So what we're going to do is ideally work on what's coming up for you right now. Mm-hmm. That's the key. So everybody, the key is to look at, if there is conflict, if there is challenge, if there is a setback. So this is why I kind of did this challenge, which is to bring up all of this stuff, okay? And then we use that because the challenge gives us a deeper part of the unconscious. We would never get to this part without the challenge or without the ordeal. So number one, Sophie, what's the area of life that's coming up for you?
I really was resonating when you were talking about health and
health. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what specifically is coming up? Like, we've just done an ordeal. What was your ordeal around health for today?
For today, to be honest, it's a bit of an everyday thing, but just surrounding my body image and how much that limits me in more areas than I'd like to admit.
What specific area is it limiting you right now?
Accepting any type of praise, like regardless of whether it's to do with my body image, even in my work that I'm doing. Sorry, I got so emotional before. Now I'm like,
this is awesome. Take a deep breath in. What's the emotion coming up now? This is great. You're so courageous, Sophie. So you push it in. This is a challenge. You push all this stuff in. You put a really beautiful smile on, but you push all of this stuff in. And this is the challenge. We got to help you release it in a safe way. How does that sound?
Yes.
Notice you're covering your mouth. This is your
Yeah.
pattern. You don't speak up. You don't ask for help. You don't receive. This is your pattern. Take a deep breath in and out. So what's the emotion, the specific emotion that's coming up right now for you?
I think it's like hurt, like sadness for.
And so it starts in your chest and moves to your throat. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, you may have noticed that. Sophie touched her heart first,
Yeah.
and then your throat. Okay, so it's hurt in your heart. Okay, are you ready to do this, my dear?
Yes.
Because life could change on the other side of this. Because
Yeah.
what's actually going to happen is you're going to be able to receive after this process. Receive love.
Yeah.
Receive compliments. And maybe even receive wealth as well. That's what I find when we work on this pattern. How does that sound?
Yes, it sounds great.
That's good. Just getting you a commitment.
I'm really happy.
All right.
I'm really happy to be here, and I feel like I'm just really, this is my my piece of gratitude for the morning. I'm glad
Awesome.
I jumped on.
Awesome. We're glad you're here too. You're going to help so many people, by the way, with this, because when you get this, 30% of the group just pops straight at because they've got the same pattern. So you're helping other people.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting leverage on you because you probably help others more than yourself as well. Okay. So take a deep breath in and out. Shut your eyes. A moment ago, we talked about health. But then what we really found out was that it was more the emotional health side. And what we also found, what you said is that you have challenges receiving compliments. And then when we went deeper, we talked about your self-image, and more specifically, then we went to hurt. And we found that there was some significant hurt happening, and it was in your chest. And can you feel that hurt right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, between 0 and 10, where's the hurt? 10 out of 10 is the most.
It's probably like 7 or 8.
It's, yeah, probably more like a 7, I'd say. I just want you to put your awareness on it and just really feel that feeling of hurt. It's about a 7 out of 10. It's in your heart. It's in your heart chakra, basically. And just intensify it. Take it to an 8 and a 9. That's it. There we go. There we go. Let it come. Let it come. This is you putting on a brave face. Just let it come. Letting go. That's it. You're safe. You're safe. There we go. You've been avoiding this emotion.
Yes.
And we just need to feel it. Just let it come up. Just feel it. Just intensify it. You jump in, you jump out. I can see that. So just go back to your chest, intensify it as much as you can, and just really feel it. And really feel that feeling of hurt. That's it. There we go. And I'm just going to ask you a series of questions now. The first answers are the ones that we're looking for. We just use the intuition. The intuition is the first response. And so as you connect to this feeling of hurt, if I was to ask you, when was the root cause of this hurt? If you were to know, was it before, during, or after your birth? First answer.
After.
And the age. First number. Don't even think. That flashes up.
5.
5. So I want you to take a deep breath in now as you, and exhale. And I want you to float up out of your body. And just imagine there's a timeline and notice your past. And I want you to go back along your timeline to age 5. The root cause of hurt. And just notice the event. Stay above the event. Notice the event. Let me know when you're there.
I'm feeling a little bit blocked, to be honest with you.
That's protection. You're just protecting yourself. So just float up higher. You're safe. And just follow the feeling. And as you go back, age 5, the root cause of hurt, and just go back there now. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions. As you go back to age 5, who was involved? First answer.
My mum.
Your mum. There we go. And so age 5, mum's involved. And what did you decide at age 5?
That I am not good enough unless I look a certain way.
Bingo. There we go. So you started to compare yourself back then at age 5. Breathe, take a deep breath in and out. And so mum was involved. Age 5, you started to compare yourself. Notice if you can now start to see a bit of a picture. Can you start to see yourself?
Yep.
There we go. Getting clarity now. That's awesome. And just notice the whole story. Notice the whole story that started to play out. Where you decided that you needed to compare yourself, that you weren't good enough. Mum was involved, age 5, and you felt really, really hurt. And this started off kind of like a chain of events. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now what I want you to do is move directly above the event. You can see the whole situation. You're looking down on the event. And I just want you to, as you look at this with your mindset now, what do you need to learn to release all of the hurt? And as you get the positive learnings, just speak them out. What are the positive learnings to release all of the hurt? It's like that. Yep. Please share.
I have the power to create my own path.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah. Although sorry.
No, this is great. We're loosening the grip on this. Okay, what else do you need to learn about yourself to release all of the hurt? See the whole event.
That even before birth, I've possessed a power inside me, and I just need to unlock it, and I need to accept what has been blocking me before I can change it.
Does anyone notice your voice just changed? Did everyone see that? Everyone hear that, I should say? Everyone hear your voice change? Awesome. So what I want you to do, stay at that event. Stay at that event. There's more work to do.
Sorry.
That's all right. So you're above the event. You can see the whole scenario. Mum's there. Okay. There's a little you, age 5. Now what I want you to do is move before the event. So you're just before the event, before it occurred. Notice who you were before. This didn't even exist. This stuff didn't even exist before this. Like, wasn't even in your mind about comparing or anything like that. You had all your energy. Just notice that. And see, before the event, you're in a release position. We can see this as like a weight's just lifted off your shoulders. What else do you need to learn? Is there any other learnings that are just bubbling up right now? That the learnings of which will release all of the hurt?
I don't know. I think it's just more to do with tapping back into my innocence before being affected by external influence and being essentially told what I should think.
So now what's a learning? Instead of being told what you should think, what could you learn instead?
Thinking what I want to think.
Yeah, look at that. See, who you are is really cheeky. Look at this. Who you are is really, really cheeky. There's part of you that would probably like to tell people to fuck off. That may happen after this intervention, by the way. And see, just because mum was hurt, you don't need to be. Just because mum compares herself, you don't need to do that shit. Some people are like, oh, I've lost my innocence or whatever it is because of this. No, you've just forgotten. There's just layers of stuff. We've just taken on other people's programming. But the great thing is that once we start to see that, we can just go back to our authentic power. And so I want you to just move back in time a little bit. You may notice who you are authentically has a loud voice. Who you are authentically was cheeky. It just triggered the fuck out of mum because she had a wound, right? That's what happened here. So you couldn't have had a relationship with mum. This is the thing. You having a really, loud voice, being cheeky, all that type of stuff, because mum was wounded. And it's like, I love you, mum, but sorry, I'm not you. I've got to let you go. And instead of having a wounded relationship, create an authentic relationship. And so what I want you to do now is just float down into little 5-year-old you. And as you float down as the little 5-year-old you, look through your eyes and just check, is the hurt there or has it gone?
No, it's just a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Hurt's completely gone. Now what I want you to do is you're inside the event. I want you to look at mum. I want you to see mum. Mum's changing. And you can see mum as a little wounded girl. A little wounded girl. Just see that. And you're growing. You're getting bigger as you tap into your authentic power. And just see mum. And maybe see mum at the age of where it originated for her as this little wounded child, this little wounded girl. And as you rise and you keep rising higher and higher and higher, and your voice is getting louder and louder as you tap into your authentic power, and you look at mum, what do you need to learn as you see mum as now the wounded little child?
She's just the same as me.
No. This is it. This is it. And so this is where we can forgive mum and we can go, mum, I love you, but I'm sorry. I'm not holding on to this pattern anymore. Please forgive me because I'm letting you go. Take a deep breath in. And again, looking at mum, I love you so much. I'm so sorry you went through this, but I'm not you. Please forgive me because I'm letting you go. I'm letting you go. And thank you for all of the support and all of that type of stuff. Even though you make me sometimes feel fucking guilty, I love you anyway. And notice you're switching on. You're becoming the adult now. This is what's happening energetically. Because you had the answers before this event. This is it. You had the answers. You had the authentic power. And that's what we're doing, is we're unlocking your authentic power. And I want you to float out of this now and see yourself, see your mum. What do you need to learn, again, to release all of the hurt fully and easily and forgive?
I need to learn how it's manifesting in my life and how I can unlock. I can use that to unlock other potential, and I can use that to help my mum do the same.
Bingo. And all you have to do to help your mum is be an example. Be an example of unlocking your authentic power. Being an example of turning up the volume of your true voice. So take a deep breath in and out. You've held on to this pattern so long because that's how you thought you had to relate to people. Okay, now we're letting go. So I want you to float up a little bit higher, gather any new positive learnings, letting go all of the hurt, because the opposite of hurt is acceptance and forgiveness. And really what we're doing is accepting and forgiving yourself. The little you has been locked inside. This is it. The little you is now coming back out. And the voice is going to be louder. The feelings are going to be strong. You're going to be able to receive wealth, love, acceptance, abundance. And this is just going to pick up speed. This is what's going to happen over time. This is just going to grow. Your confidence is going to grow. Your ability to receive is going to grow. And so now what I want you to do is start to float back to now. As you start to float back to now, I want you to see the pattern of this hurt. And as you see the pattern of this hurt, now see all the opportunities to be able to accept yourself and other people, to be able to forgive, to be able to let go. See all the opportunities to turn the volume up of your true voice. See all the opportunities to unlock your authentic power, to rise to a new level of authentic leadership. And suddenly you're just grateful, because this pattern is the key. People think we shouldn't have hurt, we shouldn't have all of these wounds. No, it's a key. You're just one of the lucky ones that got to wake up out of the wound. Now there's going to be a desire to be able to make an impact and help other people. Maybe help other people that have had hurt and have been switched off their voice. As you fully actualize this, you're the lucky one that has become conscious. And as we transition your life and we move into acceptance and forgiveness and being able to receive love, there'll be a natural desire to help other people. By being an example, not fixing them, by being an example, by unlocking your power, by getting results in your life, by forgiving and letting go, and turning up the volume of your true voice. And just notice that. See all the old patterns, notice they're dropping away as you see new possibilities, all the opportunities to connect, all the opportunities to accept yourself, all the opportunities to speak up. Just notice that. And when you're ready, start to come back to now. And come back into this room, take a deep breath in and out. I just want to check, as you come back into your body now and take a deep breath in and out, Can you smell popcorn?
No.
Oh, good. That's good. Welcome back, by the way. How do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed in the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've switched on your energy.
Yes.
Okay, so there's this energy that's going to be growing now. The key is to be around a supportive environment after we do this work. Have a hot bath if you can, drink a whole heap of water. But most importantly, we do mindset work, everybody, so that you take action. So go and execute on that list as fast as you possibly can and reach out to this community. This is your tribe. This is your community. Build relationships here because, like I said, there's two things. We want to have a really supportive community around us once we've done emotional work or mindset work, like this community. And then number two, we want to execute on new strategies. So doing new things. So well done. Big E-clap, everybody. How good was that? Sophie, you're amazing. You helped so many people in this course just then. And what an amazing demonstration as well. So guys, I might even you inspire me a little bit. I might even share my belief buster meditation, which is that process. I might even share it on the group. Would you guys like that? I will, like I did yesterday, sharing a confidence book. If you're on our group, probably midday, I might share the belief buster process then on there. Okay, but that is our session for today, everybody. How cool was that? What a great demo again, Sophie. You're amazing. And you know, a challenge between now and our next session really is we want you to do that one thing that's out of your comfort zone. And for those really high achievers, do your morning ritual tomorrow. Morning ritual is moving into gratitude, connecting to a bigger vision or a mission, and then creating your future now. Well done today, everybody. Congratulations. And again, thank you so much for showing up. Day 2 is over. Today is about acceleration and living a charged life. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about success in this new world. I will see you bright and early, 8:30 tomorrow. Well done again, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.